Picture Britain in the early 1980s, terrace streets under grey skies, Sony Walkmans in every pocket, and a new kind of dream taking hold across the country. Money was suddenly something you could see, something you could park on your driveway. For decades, wealth in Britain had been quiet, understated, almost embarrassed. But the 80s changed everything. Suddenly the car outside your house said more about you than your job title ever could. A generation of self-made men and women, bank managers, market traders, pop stars and property developers, all chased the same feeling, the feeling of finally making it. 10 cars captured that feeling better than any others, and the one that tops this list became a symbol so powerful, entire streets would stop to watch it glide past. Let's begin with number 10. Number 10, Rover 3500 Vanden Plas. For thousands of middle managers climbing the corporate ladder, the Rover 3500 Vanden Plas was the first taste of a rival. It wasn't flashy like a sports car, but that was rather the point. This was quiet, dignified success, the reward for years spent in the office rather than showing off in the car park. Underneath its sensible 3-box shape sat a smooth 3.5-litre V8, borrowed from Bic decades earlier and refined into something wonderfully relaxed at motorway speeds. Inside, Vanden Plas trim meant deep pile carpets, extra wood veneer and seats that felt more armchair than car seat. Bank managers loved it. So did head teachers, solicitors, and anyone who wanted respectability without ostentation. Neighbors noticed a Vanden Plas parked outside a semi-detached house and quietly revised their opinion of the family inside. It whispered rather than shouted. But whispers can be just as powerful as shouts, especially in Britain. And the next car on our list shouted a great deal louder. Number 9, TVR 350i. Not everybody who made money in the 80s wanted to look respectable. Some wanted noise, drama, and pure attention, and that's exactly what the TVR 350i delivered. Built by hand in Blackpool under the fiercely independent Peter Wheeler, this fiberglass-bodied wedge shape turned heads wherever it appeared. Beneath that angular bonnet sat a Rover-derived 3.5-litre V8, tuned for a raw, unmistakable growl rather than smoothness. This wasn't a car for quiet men in grey suits. It was for self-made entrepreneurs, market stall traders who'd built empires, and anyone who'd earned their money the hard way and wanted the world to know it. Inside, low-slung seats and a snug cockpit made every journey feel like an event. Handling was sharp, occasionally unforgiving, and utterly thrilling on a British B-road. Owning one meant accepting a little unreliability in exchange for pure exhilaration. Did anyone on your street own a TVR, or did you just dream about it from your bedroom window? The next car belonged to a completely different kind of Briton altogether. Number 8, Jaguar XJS. By the early 1980s, the Jaguar XJS had shed its shaky reputation and become something genuinely coveted. Long, low and unmistakably British, its flowing lines and distinctive flying buttress rear pillars made it instantly recognizable outside golf clubs and country hotels across England. Under the bonnet sat either a silky 3.6-litre straight-six or, for those who wanted the full experience, a magnificent 5.3-litre V12, delivering effortless power with a soundtrack unlike anything from Germany or Italy. This was a car built for grand touring, not for stoplight drag races. Inside, leather seats and a wraparound dashboard created a cockpit that felt genuinely special, part sports car, part gentleman's club. Company directors and successful professionals chose it because it announced a rival without shouting quite as loudly as some rivals. There was something almost cinematic about gliding along a motorway in an XJS, windows up, V12 humming beneath you. Would you have picked the 6-cylinder for economy, or gone straight for the V12? The car coming next made even the XJS look almost restrained. Number 7, Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Few cars captured raw, unapologetic British muscle quite like the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Hand-built at Newport Pagnell, with each example requiring over 1,000 hours of craftsmanship, this was genuinely Britain's first supercar, capable of embarrassing Ferraris and Lamborghinis in a straight line. Its enormous 5.3-litre V8, fed by 4 Weber carburetors, produced a snarling, theatrical soundtrack that announced its arrival long before you saw it. The styling was aggressive yet unmistakably English, a blanked-off bonnet scoop and rear spoiler hinting at genuine performance rather than mere posturing. Inside, wood veneer met supple leather in a cabin that felt equal parts luxury hotel and racing cockpit. Owners tended to be wealthy enthusiasts who already had a Rolls-Royce for weekdays and wanted something with genuine teeth for weekends. James Bond himself drove one, cementing its status as a symbol of quintessentially British power and glamour. Few schoolboys of the era didn't have this car pinned to their bedroom wall. But the next entry brought something the Vantage simply couldn't offer: genuine everyday practicality wrapped in equal prestige. Number 6. Range Rover Vogue. At the start of the decade, the Range Rover was still viewed as a rugged farmer's tool. Then, in 1981, everything changed. A specially trimmed prototype appeared in the pages of Vogue magazine, photographed against the backdrop of Biarritz, and the response was overwhelming. Customers wanted one immediately, and Land Rover obliged, launching the limited in Vogue edition finished in a striking metallic blue. By the mid-1980s, the Range Rover Vogue had become a permanent fixture outside London's most fashionable postcodes, ferrying children to prestigious schools and country families to weekend retreats. Under the bonnet, a smooth 3.5-litre V8 delivered relaxed, confident power both on tarmac and off it. Inside sat deep carpets, air conditioning, polished wood and even a picnic hamper built into the boot. It offered something no other prestige car could: genuine capability alongside undeniable status. Would your family have chosen the Vogue over a traditional saloon? The next car represented old money rather than new ambition, and it demanded a very different kind of respect. Number 5. Daimler Double Six. Some cars whispered wealth even more quietly than a Rover, and the Daimler Double Six was the very definition of understated grandeur. Built upon the same platform as the Jaguar XJ40, it wore a fluted grille and subtle badging that told the trained eye everything it needed to know. This wasn't a car for showing off in a nightclub car park. It was the choice of cabinet ministers, senior judges, and old money that had never needed to prove itself loudly. Beneath the bonnet sat Jaguar's magnificent 5.3-litre V12, delivering silky, whisper-quiet power that made motorway journeys feel almost supernatural in their smoothness. Inside, Connolly leather, burr walnut veneers and thick Wilton carpets created a cabin more reminiscent of a gentleman's club than a car. Owners tended to be established rather than newly arrived, people who valued discretion over display. Being driven in a double six felt like being wrapped in Old England itself. Did anyone in your family ever ride in one? The next car belonged firmly to Britain's new breed of ambitious professionals. Number 4. Jaguar XJ40. By 1986, Jaguar needed something to prove the brand still belonged at the top table, and the all-new XJ40 delivered exactly that. Replacing the much-loved Series 3, it brought sharper, more modern styling while keeping the marque's unmistakable presence intact. Underneath sat a brand-new 3.6-litre straight-six engine, engineered for genuine refinement and improved reliability after years of quality concerns. Inside, Jaguar embraced soft leather and real walnut trim, resisting the trend towards flashy digital dashboards favored by some German rivals. This was old-world luxury reborn for a new decade of ambitious young professionals. Company directors, successful solicitors, and self-made entrepreneurs all found themselves drawn to its combination of British heritage and modern competence. Some version of the XJ became the saloon of choice for royalty when they weren't traveling by Range Rover, cementing its status at the very top of British motoring. Sliding behind the wheel felt like joining a very exclusive club. Would you have chosen the six-cylinder saloon, or waited for something with even greater presence? The schoolboy's dream car was coming next. Number 3. Aston Martin Lagonda. No car divided Britain quite like the Aston Martin Lagonda, and few captured the sheer audacity of the decade so completely. Its razor-edged, wedge-shaped silhouette looked like nothing else on the road, a spaceship parked outside Mayfair hotels and country estates alike. Beneath that dramatically long bonnet sat Aston's magnificent 5.3-litre V8, delivering effortless, brutal power wrapped in near silence at speed. Inside waited perhaps the most futuristic cabin Britain had ever produced, with digital instrumentation and touch-sensitive controls that felt lifted from science fiction rather than a traditional saloon. Owners weren't simply wealthy, they were the boldest, most confident figures of the decade, oil executives, rock stars, and self-made millionaires who wanted a car nobody could ignore. Very few people actually owned one, which only deepened the mystique surrounding it. Owning a Lagonda meant announcing, unapologetically, that you had truly made it, electronics, gremlins and all. Two cars, though, still commanded even greater respect. And the next one turned new money into old-world glamour overnight. Number 2. Bentley Turbo R. If the 80s celebrated personal wealth, the Bentley Turbo R celebrated it louder than almost anything else on British roads. Introduced in 1985, it took the traditional, slightly stuffy Bentley Mulsanne and transformed it into something genuinely thrilling. Its enormous 6.75-litre V8, fitted with a Garrett turbocharger, produced around 300 brake horsepower and nearly 500 pound-feet of torque, enough to push this vast car towards 145 miles per hour while occupants sat in what felt like an Edwardian drawing room. Unlike a Rolls-Royce, often associated with old money and directorships, the Turbo R attracted a newer, brasher kind of wealth. Bankers who'd landed enormous bonuses, entrepreneurs who'd built businesses from nothing, all chose Bentley over Rolls-Royce for its sportier, more dynamic character. Inside, hand-stitched leather and polished walnuts surrounded drivers in genuine decadence. Wider alloy wheels and sharper suspension gave it handling that belied its enormous size. This was raw power wrapped in aristocratic clothing. But one car still stood above even this, the single most desired symbol of success in the whole of Britain. Number 1. Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit. Nothing said a rival quite like a Rolls-Royce, and throughout the 1980s, the Silver Spirit was the ultimate calling card of British success, the one car every schoolboy could instantly recognize from the end of the street. Launched in 1980, its imposing, rectilinear styling announced serious money from any angle, while the retractable Spirit of Ecstasy mascot added genuine theater to every journey. Beneath its vast bonnet sat a 6.75-litre V8, delivering power described simply as adequate in company literature, because Rolls-Royce never felt the need to boast about numbers. Inside, lambswool rugs, individually crafted leather seating and hand-finished wood veneers created an atmosphere closer to a private members club than a motor car. This was the reward for decades of hard graft, the car that greeted you outside board meetings and society weddings alike. Neighbors didn't just notice a Silver Spirit, they remembered it for years afterwards, and children pressed their faces against front room windows whenever one glided past. To own a Rolls-Royce in 1980s Britain wasn't just success. It was proof, beyond any doubt, that you had truly, finally made it. If any of these 10 cars once sat outside your family home, or belonged to someone you knew growing up, tell us in the comments below. Let us know which entry deserves a higher place, and which one still makes you catch your breath when you spot one today. The 1980s gave Britain a new, unashamed relationship with success, and these cars became its purest expression. Whether it was the quiet dignity of a Daimler or the outrageous confidence of a Lagonda, each one represented a dream finally realized. Thank you for spending this time with us here at Britain Rewind, and we'll see you in the next amazing video.